the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce, KEPSA, and the Kenya Association of Manufacturers, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm really happy that we have found this time today to be in this forum, and therefore it gives me a lot of pleasure to preside over this meeting on proposals for legislative and policy reforms for advancing investment, trade, and industry. I want to take this opportunity to also, on behalf of government, to thank the EU through Trademark Africa for facilitating this noble stakeholder engagement that started on the 23rd of September, and today is a climax because we are concluding the discussions today. Kenya's long-term development blueprint, the Vision 2030, aims at transforming the country into a middle-income economy. And the country has taken a lot of measures to improve both domestic, foreign trade, such as promoting structured commodity trading, identifying the unique needs of small traders, and creating market access through international trade agreements. However, costs and procedures for domestic trade remain burdensome. Export performance in manufacturing is struggling, and consumer protection and fair trade still show significant gaps across sectors. In the last 2 years, the country has witnessed increases in foreign direct investments and domestic direct investments. However, it has been noted that we still have constraints in the investment climate and business environment, with a focus on entry barriers and coordinated investment facilitation and cost of doing business in the country. Over the last 10 years, our contribution of manufacturing has declined from 15% to 7.6%. This has been attributed to a number of challenges, including an unpredictable taxation regime and the high cost of power. As you may be aware that the business sector faces a number of issues and challenges which require concerted efforts to address and put the sector on the right trajectory. The government has demonstrated its commitment towards implementing legislative and policy reforms geared towards advancing investments, trade, and manufacturing. Our gathering here today is a testimony towards this commitment. The journey has begun, and all of us are called upon to play our roles effectively and ensure we complement each other. Ladies and gentlemen, this week has been dedicated towards ensuring that together we harness information on the issues affecting investment, trade, and industry. I sincerely want to thank all of you for the commitment and dedication that you have shown. The 4-day consultative meetings have enabled my ministry to gather information and proposals which will inform the formulation and development of legislation and policies geared towards advancing consumer protection in investments, trade, and manufacturing. This stakeholder engagement is in line with Section 232(1) of the Constitution of Kenya, which requires involvement of the people in the process of making policies. We have had engagements with the public, traders, manufacturers, investors, experts, the private sector, civil society, professional bodies, academia, religious groups, and other stakeholders that have submitted their proposals. The ministry requested for information from all stakeholders covering the areas on measuring to attract, incentivize, and de-risk private investments, both foreign and local, in all sectors of the economy. Rationalization of incentives to boost manufacturing, and also measures to improve consumer protection and fair trade. measures to improve the performance of the export sector, foster structured commodity trade, and ease costs associated with domestic trade. We also requested information on harmonization of taxes within the manufacturing sector to eliminate distortions and provide a stable and predictable taxation structure, and also putting in place measures to consistently assure the quality of manufactured products, ensure consumer protection, and fight counterfeits. Ladies and gentlemen, from the 4-day physical engagement as well as written submissions from all of us, we have been able to consolidate the issues as well as recommend proposals. The issues have been summarized and categorized as follows. We have issues that have to do with attracting, incentivizing, and de-risking private investments, and we have quite a number of them there. I don't want to read all of them. We have issues that are classified to do with the taxation, and because taxation is a major issue, I will just give you examples of a few of them. The first issue is lack of tax policy, certainty, and stability. I think this is the entire area of having a prediction on how you can structure your business, maybe not on an annual basis, but for a much longer period, say 3 years. We have also received an issue to do with multiple levies, fees, and charges by both levels of government. We have also had issues on multiplicity of charges and levies among trade facilitation agencies, introduction of import and export levies, and also delays in VAT refunds. The other issues that have been raised, which we'll be looking at short-term, mid-term, and long-term, will guide the policy formulation and other regulations. So I think in terms of categorization, we have also categorized some of the issues that require legal intervention, those that require policy intervention, and those that require administrative action. Furthermore, more categorization will be done based on, we'll be categorizing some of the issues based on the investment sector, the industry sector, the trade sector, issues to do with the consumer protection, and there will be cross-cutting issues that they affect all categories. So I want to sincerely acknowledge your contributions towards this noble cause. You have suggested key recommendations to enable us to realize the agenda of this government. My team, therefore, after this, will work on consolidation of all the inputs and prepare a business reforms action plan report with clear agreed issues and an implementation matrix to resolve the issues will be validated by yourselves before presentation to Cabinet and Parliament for consideration. Finally, I also want to say that arising from this consultation, I want to say that we will be having quarterly meetings with you, the private sector, not only to discuss challenges to be addressed, but also to progressively look at opportunities to be unlocked related to investment, trade, and industry. I'm saying this because I know the business environment is also very agile, and therefore we cannot claim that when we have fixed some of the issues, we go back home. We need to continuously engage so that if we don't have challenges, then we can open an opportunity for us to make progress, on a number of innovations and a number of areas that can facilitate investments in the country. I am very confident that with this structured engagement together, we will ensure a more vibrant private sector to position Kenya as a preferred investment destination and a gateway to the rest of Africa. I'm aware that we have had previous consultations, maybe not necessarily of this nature, but somehow. And I'm also holding some of the matrix. I have matrix from the EU, I have matrix from the British, I also have matrix from, the private sector in Kenya, the Association of Manufacturers. We have a clear matrix, and I'm aware that most of the issues that you have raised now and those that have been raised before are not necessarily resting within the Ministry of Investment in terms of providing solutions. However, because this is the host ministry for investments and trade and industry, I want to tell you that we commit to provide leadership to bring all the other agencies together, all the other ministries together, so that we can get an amicable solution to most of the areas that have been raised. Some of the issues will be a low-hanging fruit. Some of them will be very short-term. They may require just an announcement. Some of them will require medium-term interventions, and some will require long-term interventions. However, I want to request you that in all this journey, we want to work with you. Because we've had situations where when it comes to implementation, then we have a gap. We want to carry everybody along because our focus now is not just to identify issues, but we want to focus more on action and solution. So I would like to urge all of you to still keep the tab, to participate. Those that will require reforms in policy, we will come up with the draft policy. You will have a lot of input to it. Those that require maybe changes to financial reforms, maybe in Parliament, we want to work with you to ensure that we get those resolutions together. So I want to really thank you for the commitment you have put, and I also want to thank the team, the task force that we put together. We are not disbanding the task force today because they have a duty, to do a report in the next 2 weeks so that we have a good summary of what has come. Because our aim is that before the end of the year, we get everything together. If it is an issue that requires a policy, it should now be sent to Cabinet for approval. If we require any reforms that have to go to Parliament or maybe change something in the finance bill, then we will have to do that so that we get resolutions on most of the issues. As you are aware, His Excellency the President has profiled this country globally. And I think the country now, Kenya, is on a very positive trajectory. And that positive trajectory is an opportunity. Even when we have trade agreements to facilitate market access, when we also have our products here in the country, we also need to know that we need to up our game also in terms of quality issues and accreditation. And I'm happy that we already have a policy on matters quality, which is in good progress. And there are a number of other instruments that we are also working around to ensure that we continue to enable this business environment. I know one of the issues that has been raised consistently are the administrative procedures to conclude an investment initiative. That is also one of the areas that we will need to embark on so that we don't take a lot of time. Because if we don't need to approve something, then we don't need 3 months to make that decision. If something has to be approved, we also don't need to take 6 months on the same. So it is a question of this can be approved, this cannot be approved. And then people can know the kind of areas that they need to work on to make sure that they comply. So I think going forward, we will also be very clear on the key requirements, the key compliances, and we make them public so that everybody knows if you want to do an investment, these are the things that you need to work on. And then we will also work on multi-agency to ensure that everybody is aligned, to make sure that we don't take a lot of time on decisions that we can make within, especially when you don't approve. You don't need 6 months to put somebody in anticipation. Some of the businesses have taken loans. Some of the investments, they require approval to go and get security. So you see, when we delay decisions, we also delay quite a lot of things. So I think that is an area that we'll be working on. However, the government has continued also to look at how we can put incentives on areas of infrastructure, and that is why we have the special economic zones in Naivasha, in Dongokundu, and the others will be gazetting, and also the industrial parks, in the counties, so that we can also inspire the rural industrialization and the export processing zones to enable us, to inspire the manufacturing sector. And all these are being done so that we can make sure that we improve and grow our economy. So we'll continue to do that, but the infrastructure is not the issue. When you are doing a building, it's not the issue. But I think what is the issue is now the areas that you have identified, the administrative matters, the legislative, those are the key impediments to doing business in our country. So we will commit to work with you and to ensure that consistently we give you information. What I want to urge is that let us utilize the opportunity for this open door policy so that we can get as much as possible feedback on how we are doing on certain matters. So with those many remarks, I want to thank all of you for your commitment to the process. Some of you have been doing the physical engagements. Some have been writing memorandums. That commitment we want to acknowledge because you have taken your time to ensure that you respond to our call. Maybe before I leave, if we still have time, we will open the floor for a few question and answer session, if there are any, and after that, then we can conclude the day. Otherwise, I want to thank you, and instead of saying we are closing the session, but the consultations is open. Now if I said we are closing the consultation, it would mean something else. So I think it is this session that we had set for 2 weeks that we are closing, but we are still open to many of the discussions. Thank you very much and God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Waziri. Waziri has given us an opportunity. If we have 1 or 2 burning issues that you really want to ask him, and then after that I'll ask Mr. Ngare, the MD of KEPS, to give us a vote of thanks, and we'll close here. So any burning issues? Is there someone running around with a microphone? Maybe 2, 3 issues. Please give him the microphone. And be brief and straight to the point, please.
Good morning, Waziri and PSSS. Thank you very much for the opportunity.